Welcome to Digiai.ACADEMY, a podcast aiming to help anyone working or better want to understand the video game industry. We will be talking to veterans sharing insights from the past as well as highlighting fresh ideas for tomorrow. In this first lesson, we're setting the foundation for the Academy through insights from various devs, marketing, research, and tech. We start off with Zoran, who's grown brands and communities for many years. Enjoy. So you've been around in the industry for quite some time now, right?
I have.
Yeah?
Don't make me feel old now.
No, well, come on. You've been at PlayStation, you've been at Tencent, you've done some fun things in your...
I've done some fun things, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually started out as a writer, as an editor, but then ultimately ended up with Rockstar Games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, and from there on out, it was all the rage, you could say. Went over to Blizzard, then which became Activision Blizzard, did a lot of fun stuff there. Like, you know, the Guitar Hero stuff and and then in the end, actually Destiny with the Bungie team, which was great.
Right.
That was a fun ride, a bumpy but fun ride. And then went over to PlayStation, as you said. Yeah, became the PlayStation 4 times. Then became a freelance for a while. Got over to Tencent, helped them build parts of the Level Infinite setup for Europe mostly, but also some global stuff. And now I'm here.
So out of everything that you've done, then what's some of your best memories in working in the industry so far?
Other than working with you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, every station had its ups and downs. Obviously, yeah. I think obviously with Rockstar everything was new and that was kind of exciting. But ultimately wasn't obviously the freedom that I would have had in other places. Yeah. For good reason. They're doing a great job, so they know what they're doing. I think with Blizzard, it was super fun because I still am a big Blizzard fanboy, and so to get to be Mr. World of Warcraft was, I mean, an honor, obviously. Mm-hmm. So that was fun, and it was my first touch point with what we call these days as a service games. And then, I mean, with Guitar Hero, that was some of the craziest moments in my life where I toured with Metallica, where I did a commercial with Heidi Klum. I mean, those are just.
I feel so bad for you. No, that must have been terrible.
No, everything had its challenges, but it was a fun experience. Honestly, I don't want to miss it. And then, I mean, Bungie at that time, Destiny obviously wasn't the juggernaut as it is today, and we had to introduce it into the market. And we all kind of asked ourselves, like, so the guys that did Halo, they're now doing another shooter. Can we do it? And I mean, yes. I mean, the answer is yes now, obviously. Captain Hindsight is always right. But at that point, no one was that sure. And so a lot of work went into it. And ultimately, that was just so much fun because I could touch on so many parts of the industry. It wasn't just software, just hardware. Yeah. It was sponsorships. It was events. It was everything. And that was just and third parties. That was the fun of it, right? And then, I mean, being freelance, I had some amazing opportunities. Like for instance, when I worked on Shenmue 3, and you meet, you know, Suzuki-san. Suzuki. I was like, I mean, you're in the presence of royalty. That's like, and then they go with you to Oktoberfest. That's crazy. By the way, small tip. No matter what you think of Shenmue 3, but if there's a crowd singing or partying, it's Oktoberfest. The sound.
That was recorded from it?
Yeah. Oh. Peek behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, I mean, Tencent, obviously, how can you turn this down, right? I mean, the biggest player in the market, entering the West. But again, it has its ups. I've worked with crazy good people like you and Shark Mob and Funcom and Sumo and I mean so many great studios. That's just the fun of it. But then you also have your challenges. You know, it's definitely different culture and how to approach it. You probably know this as much as I do. It's not always easy. And so yeah, of course, there's always a mixture of fun and challenges, right? But ultimately, I think it was a super learning experience. I now understand much better how the world ticks in the East. So what is my highlight? I don't know. So I can tell you what is a fun fact I just told yesterday someone, which I remembered. So maybe that's a good one. My favorite Rockstar game that I worked on, Rockstar Games present table tennis. My favorite game of all time.
Ah, I forgot about that game.
Yeah, exactly. So I worked on that.
Fantastic game.
And this is the pre-esports times, but we did like a promotion. And then this guy comes up to me, asks me, so you are the product manager on this? I said, yeah, I am. Will you play against me? I said, okay. You already gonna give me a weird vibe. I'm like, well, okay, why not? And he absolutely destroyed me. Like he had played this for way too much time. But the funniest thing is, and this is where your loss is actually a win. In this case, you don't know how happy this guy was that he beat the product manager. I didn't want to spoil it to him that maybe the product manager is not necessarily always the best player. But hey, I was happy for him.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But that was a highlights, right? Where you go like, with my loss, I made someone really, really happy. Isn't that great?
But what if you? What has been your biggest learning then throughout all these years? Something that also the viewers and the podcasters could be, or the listeners. Sorry,
there is no shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yes. There will be a lucky punch every now and then, and you will have some people will have luck, but that's the outlier.
Do you have an example of no shortcut?
No, I mean it's basically IPs, right? If you look at we talked about this, like discoverability is something that's not a secret to anyone these days, with so many games coming out and so many already out there. So being found. I'm standing out is kind of key to success, but also the biggest challenge for everyone in the market, especially with new IPs. And to give you a good example, Space Marines, like Warhammer, that's a perfect example where IP came together with a great game and they really harnessed that power. And then algorithms, AI, and everything comes together and it pushes it over a certain threshold, and then it really goes through the roof. On the other hand, if you don't build up the brand, if you don't have an IP, and you don't take the time to build an IP and a community, because everyone wants to build a community, which is part of building an IP, if you don't take that time, for different reasons, I'm not even finger pointing. Sometimes it's financial reasons, sometimes the publisher is pushing you, sometimes, I don't know, there's reasons, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your runway is not long enough. So I get it. Still, if you try to, from announcement to launch with a new IP and you have less than 6 months, and it's not building upon an existing IP, and you don't have gazillions of dollars, how do you expect to build that IP? And therefore, a followership, a community, loyalty, preference, all of these things that are unfortunately not attributable.
So what recommendation would you give for people who are trying to make it today in the industry?
Expect failure.
Yeah.
That's what I will tell people. If you're a first timer, it is the rarest occasion, on the rarest of occasions, that your first game will be a hit.
Yeah.
If you had a black zero, that's already a win. And take it as a learning curve. Maybe build up an IP and make the second part of that. Make a network of people, not just in the industry, but adjacent industries, and find out how to do it right. I think this is what you need. And there's no shortcuts, that's what I'm saying, usually. Again, outliers excluded, to success. And it's mostly years of hard work. That's unfortunately the truth. So if you're in your 20s, you might look as old as I do until you're hopefully successful, or maybe earlier. But hopefully earlier. But no, it's patience. I think patience is a virtue that many of us tend to forget.
Yes.
So I'm standing here with Jos from BlackMill Games, and you guys have been around for quite some time. Tell us a little bit about your company.
Yeah, so we've been around since, I've been doing this since 2006. It's really ethic to with your company story. So really from one or two, we started with 3 people on the game in 2013, ultimately, for done. And we grew now to 25 people. We work together with Focus Entertainment. So we're now chunky. We're now already on our 4th game, Gallipoli. So.
And how's the reception so far?
Yeah, it's been really positive. Fans have been screaming from, well, for many years, Gallipoli, when's Gallipoli next? A bit of a meme in the community as well. So that's really positive. Fans have been positive, as well as reception, view count on the trailer. Quite happy with that.
So, since you've been around in this industry for quite some time now, what are some of your best moments in that? Some of your best experience being in the industry for that long?
Best moments, right? It's always. I think moments when you talk to the fans. So, for instance, we're in Boston on PAX, and then fans come up to you. Normally, because we're a fully remote company, and I guess it counts for many game developers, they don't get to see the live reaction of their fans that much. Yeah, you can see some Twitch streamers or whatever, but that's different when people in real life come up to you and say that they drove for 5 hours in the car and then come just play your game. That's really awesome. It's not like you're a rock star who gets to see your audience all the time. So I think that's really awesome.
And some of the things right now that you see with the industry, what would you say is some of the challenges that we have at the moment?
Money. Yeah, it's really hard for the industry at large. Here, the Dutch game industry has been hit quite hard. So really long-term players collapsing. Lack of funding. That's really the main issue we see.
How do you see us moving forward from that? Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, I think maybe a realignment on more sustainable business practices. I think during COVID there was a lot of free money, insane really. When you look at the statistics, all the acquisitions. I'm pretty sure people in the industry are very much aware of that. Free money, lots of overhiring, bloating, crazy business decisions. Now we're going back to a bit more of a baseline, I would say. Maybe also a bit more sobering of proper business practices. On the other hand, competition and market is bigger, so there's also challenges there, or challenges and opportunities. A bit hard to see where this is going, but it's not all doom and gloom. So, a bit more niche, like we do, sustainable business practices. I think that is the way to go.
How did you find your audience to cater to them?
I think first of all, when you make a game, and it's like, oh, you make a game for yourself. Like this is really, I'm a major history geek. There's people like me. World War I, we were the first to do it, so we really grew our base from there. And then, you get to do 4 games in a row, working on the thing you like. So I'd say, yeah, that's that is a formula. So yeah, that's how we found our community. Lots of history buffs, reenactors. A little bit of hardcore FES fans as well, military enthusiasts. So really, that combination of fans really find your niche. Really.
And what would you say to people developing their first game in the industry as it looks today? Do you have any insights or any tips for them?
Yeah, as I say, make a game you like to play first. Like that are really into, because making games is. It's a marathon. Really have to love it in order to get it over the finish line. A lot of gray hairs have been added in the last 10 years, I can tell you that.
Should people expect gray hairs?
Yeah. We're called industry veterans for a reason. But yeah, if you really love it and you make a game that you want to play, I think that's always key. Of course. Keep learning on the business side. Yeah, I'm sure there's people more qualified to give business advice, but it's really something you need to be in for the long haul.
So I'm standing here with Tana from Dead Teapot. A new studio, I guess, huh?
New studio. We're started up last year and have been working on a game called Shape Center Deluxe.
So your dreams of making your own game now. What drove you to take that decision, that bold decision?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I really love Dinosaur Polo Club. I spent a long time there. I love the games. I love the design philosophy, and you can see a lot of that in this game as well. But I'm a very ambitious person. I know what I'm giving up. I'm giving up a pretty sweet job in order to indie rough it. But I have a lot of people that believe in the game, and I have support from Code, I have support from Dreknik and friends, I have support from Dinosaur Polo Club, and it feels like the entire New Zealand game industry is like, you got this. And so it really feels like the right move for right now as a way to really take the next step into the direction I want to go, which is making my own game, supporting myself, and designing the things I want to design.
And how long have you been in the industry?
So I managed to be a very lucky person and get a games industry job right out of university. So since for 8 years I've been in the industry. I studied software engineering, so I didn't even do a games degree, so I got really, really lucky. But I've always wanted to make games, and so I've been doing game jams, been making mods for things like Gary's Mod. That's where it all started. I always describe Gary's Mod as that was the defining game that got me into wanting to make games.
And the biggest learning that you have so far that you would, for example, bring to somebody who is just starting off?
Biggest learning is a tough one. I feel like there's so many different pieces of advice that I would cater to who's receiving the advice. But for someone who's brand new, it would be do your market research before everything else. I think I've learned a lot of things going solo, I've only very recently gone solo, and so on the process of getting to that point, I've learned that the game I'm making is cool, but it's a very hard sell, and so making sure that you've done your research well before you come up with your game idea is a really nice point.
I'm standing here with Mikael from AWS. You've been around in the industry for quite some time now.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I would say I started like 20 years ago in the industry, so 2005, and I've had a number of different roles within both in gaming industry with studios and also outside the industry, working sort of with AWS and sort of supporting the industry.
And what would you say, based on personal experience now, is something that you could pass on to somebody who is producing their first game, for example?
Well, I think in general, as a studio getting started and working on their first game, one word of advice is it's a game. I know it feels like your baby, but it is just a game in a sense that you're looking to build something, release it, get feedback, and focus on your next game. So try to always look at it from what is the next thing you want to build. Not to get stuck on your game, not to build it and not release it, but make sure you have the resources and sort of the mindset of releasing a game, learning from it, moving on, and building the next game. Don't think that the game you're building now will be the game to rule them all, if you will. That's one thing. The other thing I would say is start early in looking at the business side of what your game needs to be successful, especially when it comes to live service games. Understand the cost of your game post-release, because that is going to be immensely important when you talk to investors, to make sure to convey to them that you understand in detail the breakdown of what is the cost per user for your game. That will give them more confidence in investing in you because they can see the P&L clearly.
So I'm here with Manu from Newzoo, who also is a mighty diamond and brings insights to a lot of people.
So I've been about 10 years in the industry. I've been playing, my first platform was a Spectrum ZX48. So before console, I like to say I've been playing for more than 40 years. Yeah, 9 years at Electronic Arts. So I started late in the industry, but I've been a gamer for a long time, and then Newzoo now for 1 year.
What do you see right now in the industry, and what are you hoping to see in the future soon?
I mean, there is positives and less positive, I would say. There is this kind of, when you look at live service games, and you look at playtime, you see this concentration of and the stickiness of some games. Right now, mostly the live service games, like players are in there, it's part of their life. They're not going to shift easily to a different type of game. I call them the lifestyle games, basically. So this is very difficult to acquire these players and distract them or change completely to new experience. Still, you can distract them for a certain amount of time by offering them experience that are maybe shorter in time, that are finite experience, like single player games or things like that. So I would say there are pockets of opportunities, but right now it's very challenging to come with the newest live service and hope that you will get these players out of their lifestyle game and into your game.
Yeah, because it seems that most of these projects are not being able to retain people beyond the first weekend or first weeks or so. Is that something people get in touch with you guys as well now to understand more about how that works?
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem is that from a purely live service mechanics, we've not seen a lot of innovation since the Battle Pass. It's been very similar. So basically, it's quite easy to create excitement and to get people to try the game, but to keep them in there, it's more challenging. Yeah, that's the problem at this point. And we hope that some innovation will come, but I think if you just come with the same kind of business model, the same kind of game, it's very unlikely that you will get the attention of players for a longer time.
And what would you say to people who are trying to make it now with their first game or so on? What's your advice?
I think there are two things probably. Try to be different from don't try to do exactly the same that exists already. Try to come with something new, something fresh, and also have an understanding of your audience. So it's great to have a artistic ambition, but if there are no players to play your game, then I mean, you're not gonna sell the game. So I think sometimes there is a lot of emphasis on what the developers really want to build, but you need to connect that to the audience. And also ask yourself, who am I targeting, and what does that audience like? Am I culturally relevant also to some of that audience? Or like I say, I want to be successful in China. What does it take to be successful in China? So I think it's also important.
How should people find their audience and dare to specialize for that audience?
Yeah, I think it goes again in the sense of there are pockets of opportunities. There are probably some niche of players that are underserved right now. So sometimes you get more successful by filling that niche rather than to target everyone in the market. Yeah, I agree. This is the kind of thing you see with shooters. Maybe they are the big shooters that try. That's basically it's a race to which shooter can propose the most options and the most play mode and things like that. While if you look at the market, you can see like a game like Counter-Strike, it's just 1 or 2 maps. It hasn't changed in many years. League of Legends is 1 map. So the quantity versus quality, it's more, I think, to be surgical about the quality of your title and find the gameplay loop that's really exciting for the players rather than just try to appease everybody, which doesn't really work.
So I'm standing here with Mattias from Northify.
Yes.
Northify is Sweden's only QA company, is that right?
Yeah, we're Sweden's only dedicated QA company, and we have been around for a couple of years, and we've now built a really strong team, and this is aiming for the Nordic market to help everybody with kind of the Swedish quality sigil.
So what is usually the biggest problem for games? I mean, why do you exist to begin with?
I mean, today you spend a lot of time and passion and effort building something really good, and if it's not up to par with the expectations of players at launch, you will have a backlash. You have seen it in a number of occasions, and our goal is to try to even exceed the players' limitations with whatever project we get our hands on.
And how is it usually that it works? Do people connect with you where are they in the cycle?
So I would say the best and most fruitful projects are when we are in early on. There's of course the traditional, QA bump in the end of a production, but I would say anywhere in the cycle, but the earlier the better, and the higher likelihood of a really good kind of collaboration.
And for anyone trying to make it out there right now, what do you believe is the number one thing that they should be thinking about?
Speed, velocity, helpful tools with new technologies. I don't know, put things out there fast, but don't put out shit fast.
And what is your, personally, what is your biggest learning being in the industry?
Interesting question, big question. I would say just leave your desk, go out into the world or go out to the next block, meet people, talk with them, network, build relations, understand what kind of state the industry is in now, what the players are wanting, trying to, just go out there, open your eyes, open your mouth.
Thank you very much, Mattias.
Thank you.
So I'm sitting here with Christian from Second Stage. Now, Christian, you are on what developers would call the other side, the marketing side and whatnot. But it's so much more than that. Tell us a bit about what you do and what your company does for development and studios.
So we have developed a marketing technology for reporting and attribution for PC and console games. So in the end, it's a reporting dashboard that collects all the data you have and puts it in one place so that you get a holistic overview about your campaign, understand what's going on, what is working, if you're addressing the right audiences, and all these kind of things.
What would you say is the number one problem that you usually face when you talk to studios?
I mean, the number one problem for me always is that people are not looking into data, and studios are not looking into data, because in the end there's so much data out there, so many numbers that you can review and take a look at to see what is actually working and how could you spend your money more wisely, and in the end where shouldn't you spend money and rather put it in a different place. So that is something that still hasn't arrived fully in the industry, that there are many ways to really see and evaluate how your spendings are being used, and if it's if there are smarter ways to do this.
What is the number one thing you would tell people who are trying to make it in the industry right now with their first game, or even maybe their current game that they have out on the market?
In the end, it's research, because in the end you need to know who are you addressing, what are the right messages to them, what are the right audiences, and you need to test and you need to find this out. Otherwise, you might go in a completely wrong direction. You might have a great game, but you might address the wrong audiences with it, and then it will simply not work. That is why doing a proper planning, doing a proper research, that's what is really important.
And there you have it. No matter whom you just heard in this episode, there are some very important takeaways they all share. Studios need enough time for failure to eventually reach success. And finding the fun with the right audience needs time and insights to mature. In the coming episodes, we're going to dive deeper with the people who have strong experience on these topics and gather insights on how to mitigate risk through development. Because knowing is, after all, half the battle of making a successful game. See you next time.